On behalf of the NUW and our good friends at the Victorian Trades Hall and the ACTU, we welcome you to the Fluro Fightback for 2013.
40% of Australians are in insecure work, and that's not the type of Australia we want to work in. When you guys first launched the jobs you can count on, it made me think about my own family. So both of my parents are part of that 40%. They're part of that insecure workforce. And if I asked them 20 years ago that they would end their working lives in insecure work, they would have laughed at me. My mother is a nurse, a proud member of her union, but now works insecure night shifts at a doctor's office. My father, a welder by trade, worked for the Border Works, works for Parks Victoria. He now waits by the mobile phone every morning to see if he'll get a text to come to work each day.
Did you know that 40% of homeless people are actually working, usually in low-paid, insecure work? In fact, inadequate income rather than unemployment is one of the most significant factors leading to homelessness. Working in insecure, low-paid jobs creates a trap. It's a spiral down that many can't get out of. And what we hear from many people in business and some side of politics is say people choose insecurity because they like the flexibility. And we know that that's a myth.
There's a really interesting study that was put out in 2011 which looked at the difference between high-performing and low-performing workplaces. And, you know, the high-performing workplaces, the ones who had satisfied customers, the ones who had lots of innovation, the ones that were really profitable. Do you know what the big difference between the high-performing and low-performing ones were? Respect for their workers, right? That's what made the big difference. The workplaces where people felt like they were treated fairly, what a surprise! Those workplaces did better. We can look for productivity gains based on the work of skilled people who are skillfully managed, who are supported in their training. We don't need to join this race to the bottom.
Right here in Melbourne, in Richmond, in Springvale, you've got people working $3 or $4 an hour making clothes that get sold on Burke Street for $300, and by and large they're told to be independent contractors. They have no superannuation, no sick leave. If they get in trouble, they've got to cover their own workers' comp. And the thing is, it's not just happening in sweatshops. When I was in Parliament, a woman called Shani came and gave evidence at an inquiry into my bill to tackle job insecurity. She worked in a university, in the same department for 10 years as a researcher, and throughout all of that time she didn't have access to 1 day of sick leave, and she had to put off starting a family, buying a house, all because she was in insecure work. And I just think fundamentally insecure work is wrecking our way of life, and it's up to parliamentarians to do something to stop it.
I went out and did a workplace tour of Hazeldene's, one of the biggest employers in Bendigo and one of the proud NUW sites. And they're about to go into bargaining, and I was talking to the delegates out there, and this is a company that has labour hire that puts workers' safety at risk. This is a company that pays people per the kilo and not per the hour. This is also a company that helped fund $1 million federal election campaign for the Liberal candidate in Bendigo. So when the workers front up in bargaining and say, we want a pay rise, the boss started to cry poor. That to me says that that employer, like many employers, they're not putting their workers first, they're putting their self-interest first. There are a group of us going to Canberra that are actually going to stand up for the workers in our community, and union members like NUW members that are standing up to say that what we want is full-time jobs and jobs you can count on.
I talk to mums who have got young children, often raising their kids on their own, who are expected to find childcare at the last minute when they get a text from the boss saying they have to be in at work that day. This casualisation and the issues about jobs that you can count on is actually threatening the whole idea that we have about an egalitarian in Australia where the bosses and the workers can see each other as equals.
96% of those who surveyed would vote for a party that tackles the issue of insecure work, and I think that's really telling. Australia is a land of opportunity. It is the land of the fair go, and it must again become the land where every worker counts.
They're coming after us at the moment. Have you seen how they want to rip us off? They want to get rid of penalty rates, the big push from businesses. They want to get rid of all the things that you and I have fought for. We're seeing all those fabulous social infrastructures being ripped out from under us. They're defunding TAFE. You know, more and more it's getting hard to fund health, decent education in this country. We need to stand up for all of these things, because all of these things give us a better life, and the people that fight for a better life, again, as I said, are unions.
I'm standing on this carpet, and in a few moments the carpet will rise in the air. That's my job today, is to show that miracles do happen. All I'm saying is that I'm more convinced than ever that care, communication, concern, all that compassion, all those kinds of things that we've got to re-establish at the centre of our communities. And the best instrument for that is through the unions. Historically, as far as I understand it.
Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Fabrice, I'm from Burundi. I'm from a country where we don't have unions. So to be in Australia where we have a strong trade unions, it's a blessing for us.
Just a dream boy, just a dream sis. 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 You better just a dream, cause the dream will never just you. You better just a dream, cause the dream will never just you. Let's go.
Thank you very much. We are Flybeat.
Thank you.
No going home in the back of the TV van.